All right, welcome back to Radio Nation. I'm your host, Nicholas Pescod. It is now 8 o'clock here in Toronto, Ontario. And we are now joined in studio by our lovely guest, Kate Todd. Welcome to the show, Kate.
Hello, thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Well, thanks for coming in and taking the time out of your Tuesday night to be here. I know we've kind of had a strange technical downfall to this show already where things aren't seeming to work as they should, but let's hope this interview goes smoothly and well. So I guess we should start off by those who are listening that don't know. Kate Todd is obviously a musician, as we do most of our interviews with musicians on this show. She's a very talented musician from Toronto, Ontario. She's won many awards in academics and in her musical career, and we're pleased to have her joining us in studio tonight. So I guess I got to ask you right off the bat, when did your musical career begin?
I feel like somebody's musical career kind of begins the first time that they pick up an instrument. But for me, I've been playing piano since I was 8 years old and made my way to the trumpet and French horn in high school and eventually to the guitar, where I now study it. I'm beginning to study it at the university level and enjoying that very much.
And who would you say what I guess I should say are your musical influences, or who have you been really influenced musically?
I'm not sure if it comes out in my music or not, but certainly artists such as Bob Dylan and Joni Mitchell and Buffy St. Marie and, of course, Sheryl Crow have definitely influenced me in my musical path and inspired me to get into the music business and to be able to dig deep in my writing as well.
You opened with the Bare Naked Ladies in Kitchener. What was that experience like for you?
It was a great experience to be able to open up for Bare Naked Ladies and certainly a band of that stature, and to be able to meet the guys and raise money. The charity event was to raise money for the hospitals in the Waterloo region, so that was a great time. And the people of Waterloo are always so great and so generous and giving, and it's always a pleasure for me to play there when I'm asked to. So I had a great time.
If you're just joining us right now on Radio Nation, we are interviewing Kate Todd, a musician from Toronto, Ontario, and we're pleased to be joined with her live in studio tonight. All right, so you've done you've opened for the Bare Naked Ladies. You've done all kinds of really interesting things, but according to your bio, performing at Earth Hour was one of the biggest highlights of your career. Why would you say that?
I think the cause itself was a huge highlight for me. I mean, I always strive to be. I try to be eco-friendly and eco-conscious, and to be able to perform in front of 10 to 15,000 people in the dark in Toronto was just a really moving and really beautiful experience. And I just feel like it was such a global movement to be able to have taken part of something like that in my own city was fantastic.
Besides your musical career, you're also an actor or an actress.
Right.
It says in your bio that you appeared on Family Guy. Is this true?
Yes, I did. I did do a Family Guy episode, which was a lot of fun, as you can imagine, and it was great to share that episode with a lot of the great talents and kind of likenesses of Jay Leno and Jimmy Fallon, and Lauren Conrad was on that one as well. Obviously, the episode was "We Love You, Conrad," and I believe Drew Barrymore as well. So it was definitely a lot of fun and a huge honor and very humbling as well.
How did that happen? Like, did they come to you and say we want you, or did you sort of approach them?
Well, I was offered the role, and Seth MacFarlane is a good friend, and they asked me to be on the episode, and I, obviously happily obliged. It was my first voiceover ever, and definitely great to be able to have that on your resume as your first one. So I was honored. It was a lot of fun, definitely.
You're also really big into anti-bullying campaigns, which is sort of something that's been drawing a lot of attention to over the last 10 years. Can you explain to me sort of why this cause, even though it is sort of self-explanatory, I guess, from your own personal perspective, why this, and has this bullying ever occurred in your life?
That was early on in my career, and I really wanted to get involved with something that potentially affected my audience. And I was at an age where I could see it affecting people that I knew and also supporters of mine. And I took it upon myself to travel around to different schools, do presentations on anti-bullying, and of course, Family Channel got involved in their own anti-bullying campaign, and I happily kind of joined them in their fight. And that's how that initiative of mine got started. And definitely, it affects a lot of people. There's so many people in this day and age, and especially with the internet and the different outlets for it. So it's an important cause for sure.
Where do you see yourself sort of heading? Where do you see your career heading sort of in the future as an artist and I guess even as an actress too? I guess I want to ask that, but where do you see yourself headed?
I've been so blessed to be able to take part in so many different charities, from cancer to anti-slavery, and the time that I do have to commit to those things, I really do enjoy. And I don't know, I feel like you can't predict the future, but I do hope to be able to kind of direct more time and energy into those areas of my life in the future. So that's something that would be important to me.
You're also in school, and you're at York University. What are you in school for, just out of curiosity?
Yes, York University. I study music. I accepted into the music program, and I'm very happy to be starting that program in September. So I'm excited, but also a little bit nervous as well.
And
Juggling.
Your first year at university, going into your first year?
No, it's not my first year, but it'll be my first year in the music program. Right. But juggling school and music and acting and it's a little bit of a challenge, but it's something I'm going to look forward to, I guess.
This sort of actually does then lead me into one of my next questions, which is, what has been the biggest challenge of your career up to this point?
Mm-hmm. Booking gigs. And well, no, I guess, like I said, the juggling of everything probably has been the biggest challenge, of juggling music, acting, and school, and now with university, time management as well. And I don't get much time off, but when I do get time off, I enjoy going to California and spending some time, with friends and playing some gigs down there as well. And I just kind of enjoying that, because as you can imagine, there's not much of it, but I have fun working. Can't complain, that's for sure.
Besides Earth Hour, what other gigs or sort of things have you done that maybe the fans don't know, or is not in your bio, that you really enjoyed doing, or was a real big moment in your career that really stood out for you?
This past weekend, I actually was honored to be able to go out to the Waterloo region and participate and play the Ride with Lance event there, where they raised over $1 million for the Grand River Hospital's cancer initiative. And to be able to meet Lance Armstrong and to be able to see the impact that he had on the community and the funds that were raised, it was just a resounding success, and it was an honor to be a part of that movement and to see that all unfold and the community come together like that. It was really beautiful.
So you actually got to meet Lance Armstrong, like, in person?
I did.
What was that like? Was just like meeting him sort of overwhelming?
Well, he's certainly an impressive guy, and he follows his dreams and kind of puts all of his energy towards his charity, Live Strong, and it's definitely, I respect him a lot. It's an amazing to see him do what he is doing for cancer and for cancer research, and to incorporate his biking success into that as well. It's inspiring.
What other things are you looking forward to? Obviously you're going to school, so that must be really exciting for you. You've got a big challenge ahead of you, sort of trying to balance both. What would you say is sort of the big thing that's coming up that sort of fans of yours don't really know that you're going to be doing, whether you're releasing something or whether you're going to be putting out some new music or playing at a gig? What's sort of the next big thing for Todd?
My Babysitter's a Vampire begins airing on Canadian television at the end of September on Teletoon. It's going to be Teletoon's first live action series, so there's a lot of excitement around that. And on the My Babysitter's a Vampire note, I'm happy to say that I will be taking part in the second season, the filming of the second season of the show for Disney and Teletoon. And everyone's really looking forward to that. I'm also working on, at the current moment, a new series that's titled right now. I'm not really at the liberty to talk about it too much in depth, but I hope people will stay connected to Twitter and Facebook, and when those details come out, I certainly will put them up on those sites.
Now, being a Canadian artist, and we've had American artists come on the show, and we've had Canadian artists, and I always try to ask, what's sort of like the biggest or the hardest thing? Is it hard being a Canadian artist and trying to get your name out there because you are Canadian? And while we have a lot of successful talent from this country, it still seems to be a common theme among most Canadian artists is that you got to go to the States. You got to go down to the South. You have to find a way to make yourself different. Do you share that opinion?
I think that I'm not doing anything special or different. I'm just lucky to be able to keep booking gigs and keep doing what I love. And I can't speak for other people, but I know that that there's so many talented people, like you say, and I think that I'm just very grateful to be able to make a living at what I do and what I love, and that's really all you can ask for.
How hard is it out there, even in Canada, to sort of get noticed? I know Much Music does the Discovered series every Tuesday night, I believe, but they do it, and I follow it on Twitter, and it's really interesting to sort of see that. But how hard is it even here to get airtime or to get exposure in this country alone?
I'm not sure how you mean. In what way?
What I mean by that is, like, how hard is it to sort of find venues to play at or to get like radio airtime in another, besides this show, in another form, or just to get your name out there that isn't sort of through social media?
Well, opportunities come up like this one, like when you contacted me and Radio Nation contacted me, I was excited to come in, and I'd heard about Centennial College, and I'm always into supporting internet radio and kind of underground radio. I think something really neat about that, and kind of flying under the radar is cool, and happy to all the people that have chosen to tune in and listen in. It's definitely a community that we've got going on here, so I'm excited to be part of this.
What other I'm sort of jumping back and forth a little bit here, but what other moments, like, in your career would you say really define you as an artist? What I mean by that is, what awards, I guess, have you won that really stand out to you, or something that you did that really sort of stands out to you? It doesn't have to even be musically, it could be as an actress.
I think that I'm still finding my way in life, and that actually was an interesting segment into the title of my EP. It is true. I wrote an EP called Finding My Way, and it's all about the struggles and the things that you go through in a coming of age kind of a way. And I just think that every day that you wake up and that you accomplish something, you can't be defined by things that you've done in the past. And while I'm very honored to be, to have those things happen, I think that, you just have to kind of live in the present, live in the moment, and continue to grow and continue to kind of better yourself, and just be grateful to be able to have those opportunities.
Now, how big is social media for you? You've got a lot of followers on Twitter, which is impressive, very impressive. So how important has social media been for you as an artist?
Well, I think Twitter and MySpace and Facebook, I think you have to have a presence on them, and it's great to be able to connect with fans in that way, and I'm so happy that they understand that I appreciate their messages, and I really do try to get back to everybody, but sometimes it's difficult to be able to answer and respond to everyone. But my fans are so compassionate and so empathetic with that, and they're just so kind to me, and I really am so grateful for it, and the supporters that I have on there. It's just amazing, and I wish I could say hi to every one of them, but I you know, it as you can understand, it is difficult to get to everyone, but I do see them and I do appreciate them so very much.
Let's talk a little bit about your music, because I'm sure your fans kind of want to hear, you know, you're obviously they want to hear your music, and I guess maybe they are curious to know sort of how do you go about writing? Do you hear a beat to a song, or do you just hear a beat and you sort of write lyrics to it, or do you write lyrics and sort of find a beat that works best for what you write, for what you want to get out in your song?
There's no set way that I write music. I suppose if I had to kind of speculate how I do it, it's usually I'll have a guitar, I'll start strumming a melody, and I'll already have had a concept in my mind or something that's inspired me, whether it's a line that someone said during the day or whether it's a story that I've read, and then I blend the melody and the lyric together, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But
do you often like think of lines in your head and you'll be like driving to work, or you'll be doing something, like you'll be in the shower and you've had to stop what you're doing to just like write it down? Does that happen to you?
Of course. So I was on set just yesterday, and somebody said something, one of the assistant directors said something to the crew, and it just was a line that stuck in my head, and I immediately went to my phone and wrote it down in my notes section so I can go revisit it later.
Yeah, I know. I do that too, just with weird lines. I don't know why. I don't even write songs, but I do it, and I can totally understand.
Well, hey, man, you should.
I've done one, but it's like ghostwriting, so it'll never get sung by anybody. So.
Right on. No,
I've just played around with it as a concept, but I don't like something. I'm not an artist. Musically, I never will be.
Hey, we're all artists. We're all artists in the walk of life, you know.
So let's talk about the two songs that you want to play, and you sort of picked them out, but let's talk a little bit about the first one, which is, I got to pull it up here, but you just want to play Drive? Is that one of the ones you want to play?
Sure, let's play Drive.
You want to play the sample off Reverb? Is that okay? Can we do that? Or are we going to do the SoundCloud?
If you want to do the sample, or if you SoundCloud is a full length.
We'll do the sample first, and then we'll do the full length in a bit.
Sounds good.
So this is just a sample of some of the work that Todd has been able to do over a career, and it's really, really, really good. I'm very, very impressed by it, and I really enjoy it. So hopefully you'll take a listen, and here it is.
Population 109, how'd we end up here? Jimmy's always flipping lids, Summer's got another kid, gotta find a way out of here. Why are all these exit signs facing upside down?
Is it playing? Oh.
I guess we got lost somehow, so let's turn this car around and drive. Leave them behind us, they'll never find us. Drive. We're both in the hot seat, feeling our heartbeat. We're almost across that line. Let's get in the car and drive. Let's get in the car and drive. Southbound, 66, head rush, desert kiss. We were born to run. We got everything we need, baby.
All right, so let's talk about this song, Drive. Where did you get the inspiration for this song?
I was inspired by a road trip that I took with my best friend. We road tripped from California to Toronto, and I got back, and I wrote Drive. That's how that one came about.
Very interesting. I like it. It's a good song. It's a good even that sample clip is really, really good. Like, it'd make me want to go buy the full thing on iTunes. It's just my opinion, but...
Well, that's great. Hey, Nicholas, thanks. Thanks for the plug there.
All right, so we're going to play... We'll play the full song in a minute. But he also wanted to play Footsteps on the Moon, right? That's the other one you sort of wanted to mention that you mentioned earlier.
Footprints on the Moon, yes.
Yeah. So this is just a demo on SoundCloud. But we can play this one, too. So let's play it up and see how it sounds, because... heard the demo and I really like it. So
right on. Okay.
See what other people think.
She grew like a flower. Now she's pulling up her roots. She's straightening the small town shoes for some astronaut boots. Her daddy says we'll miss you. Just don't forget this place. And send us back a postcard when you hit the Milky Way. Now the countdown has begun, and it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. She's gonna run into the sun, break through the atmosphere, dance with the stars, hang out on Mars, light years away from here, finding a place up there in space. She won't be back here soon. No, she's not coming home. She leaves footprints on the moon. Waited for this moment since she was just a little girl. There's something out there for her that's bigger than this world. Now she's chasing down those comets, gonna catch them one by one, and she'll get to where she's going. She can just hold on. She's gonna run into the sun, break through the atmosphere, dance with the stars, hang out on Mars, light years away from here, finding a place up there in space. She won't be back here soon. No, she's not coming home. No. She leaves footprints on the moon. You've come so far, you know who you are. Up so high, keep your feet on the ground. And if you forget, gotta keep your head up now. She's gonna run into the sun, break through the atmosphere, dance with the stars, hang out on Mars, light years away from here, finding a place up there in space. She won't be back here soon. Oh, she's not coming home. She leaves footprints on the She leaves footprints on the moon.
All right, welcome back to Radio Nation, and that was Kate Todd's Footprints on the Moon. That was actually the full song, so that wasn't a demo. So that's if you liked it, there you go. It's a great song, and you can find it all on her SoundCloud. Just type in Kate Todd SoundCloud on Google, and it's the first link that pops up, and it's all great stuff. All right, so this is the fun part of the interview, where it's not like super weird questions, or not weird questions. Whoa, that was weird. It's not weird questions, but it's just generally, more. These are more personal questions in a fun way. So I guess let's kick it off by asking you, what do you like to do when you're not acting, or when you're not voice acting, when you're not singing, when you're not writing songs, when you're not doing anything that has anything to do with your career? What is Kate Todd doing, or what does Kate Todd like to do on her free time?
Well, with music and acting, and charity work. I don't have a ton of free time, but when I do. I do like to walk. I like to walk with my dog. I have a yellow Labrador retriever. His name's Riley, and I just do regular stuff. I like to camp. I like to hike. I like to bike. I just recently got a new bike, and I thought it was kind of ironic how I bought a bike 2 weeks ago, and then 2 weeks later I was doing the event with Lance Armstrong. It's a little
very cool.
Something that was a little ironic.
Perfect timing.
So I was sure to tell him that I did buy my first bike 2 weeks ago.
What did he say to you?
He was just sort of, he just kind of, was happy for me, I suppose. Encouraged me to continue to bike more. But it has a basket on the front of it, and
that's awesome.
And I can go and get groceries with it. And
you dog with you? Will your dog fit in there?
I have a yellow Labrador
so it's bigger,
retriever.
Bigger, pretty big dog.
He definitely would have to go shotgun for sure.
There you go. Where would you like to go if you could go anywhere in the world? Where could you go?
Home. Someone asked me that the other day, and
where's home for you? For those who are listening that don't know,
I live north of Toronto. I grew up north of Toronto, and it's my favorite spot in the world. But if you're talking an exotic destination,
well, it doesn't have to be anywhere. But I mean, you said home. There you go. That's your answer. I mean, if you want to say somewhere exotic, go for it.
I really do love being home, and when I have time off, I just go. And my parents live in the country, and it's tranquil, and you can just go and relax. But I definitely want to visit Barcelona. I have a friend there who I'd like to go visit, and Thailand and New Zealand. Another friend is there. Hawaii. These are places that I hope to visit one day, and they're beautiful. So I want to go experience that.
If there's one thing you'd like to do before you die, what would it be?
What a question. I want to be able to say something crazy like skydiving, but that is not true. I just want to be able to be happy and continue to be happy and have health. And I think that's the most you can ask for, to be honest, and just to kind of live life each day and try to be in the present and be grateful for what I have. And that's what I want to continue to do and continue to do. You're
a very charitable person. You're a very giving person. If someone out there is listening that wants to get involved in a charity or some sort of cause, what would you say to them if they were thinking about it, like, well, I don't know how to do this. It seems overwhelming. Like, I don't want to just go to them and be like, hey, I want to help, because that just sounds like I'm not talented. I'm not a singer. What would you say to that person?
There's so many charities that are right here in our own backyard, and some people want to go to other countries and help, which is fantastic as well. But I would say that there are so many charities and so many organizations here in Canada, in Toronto, or even in your local area that you should check out. And I believe that charity starts at home.
Very good. I like that. We try to do a lot of it here on the show too. We try to help out.
I know.
So if you have any causes that you'd like to get promoted, you just come and ask us, and we'll do our best to help where you don't have any money. But we certainly have a voice and a way of communication. Mm-hmm. All right. What other questions should I ask you? Your color?
Green.
Green. Your favorite color is green.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm a fan and I'm listening and I want to know what Kate Todd's favorite food is, what would it be? You're going, what is he asking me all these questions?
My favorite food would probably be, oh my goodness, sounds really lame and boring, but I really love oatmeal and blueberries.
I'm a breakfast guy, so it's okay. I love breakfast.
I love breakfast as well. I love a nice warm bowl I feel like it's comfort food, that's why.
I'm one of those people that loves IKEA's breakfast. Have you ever had IKEA's breakfast food? It's fantastic. I think it's fantastic. Like, if I had a last meal, that would be it. Just me, though. People are like, why would you pick that? And I don't know. All right. Where have you been besides? Where have you been in Canada besides Ontario? Obviously. Where have you done gigs or just sort of traveled that you really enjoyed in Canada?
This past New Year's Eve, I traveled by train, by via rail, out to Jasper, Alberta, to visit my friend, and that was a beautiful experience. That was 4 days by train. No internet access, amazing food, wonderful service, slept on the train and just enjoyed taking in the countryside and all the different sort of variations of countryside going to Jasper, Alberta from Ontario, from Union Station in Toronto. And I really, really was able to see our country, a large portion of our country by train, and it was such a fantastic way to travel, and I encourage everybody to travel that way and to see Jasper, Alberta is just beautiful. The mountains are just breathtaking, and it was the first time that I'd ever been that up close and personal with our mountains here in Canada, and it was great. I want to do it again soon.
Final question. Is there anything else you want to say tonight before we go off the air?
Well, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for interviewing me. And if anyone wants to stay connected or wants to kind of have a bit more of an in-depth look with video or photos, you can certainly go to katetodd.com or twitter.com/katetodd or my Facebook page. I know there's a few out there, but there is one authentic Facebook page that I do have promoted on my Twitter. So if you choose, please be sure to check that one out, because that's the only one that I run. I know there's been a bit of confusion, but if I can clear that up, it would be now. So
there's only one K Todd.
There's only one the authentic one that I run, yes, exactly. on Facebook. So, but just want to thank everybody for following and for tuning in, of course, and thank you for having me as well.